Welcome. In this episode, we are going to go over chapter 1 of the book. I'm going to read to you a bit and then discuss some of the ideas that are in here. So, let's get started, shall we? The softness of the twilight slowly fades from the night into the beginning of a new day. Peeking over the horizon, the sun is giving its gift of light to the day, filling it with the possibilities for growth and change. It rises every day and then sets into the night just to do it all over again. This is life's lesson that teaches you to trust. No one worries about whether this is going to occur. We don't even give it much of a thought at all, knowing that this is going to happen all over again. Because of this, we miss the lesson that is being taught. And that lesson is to trust in how life works. The very act is a reminder to believe and to trust in what you already know. There is a promise being delivered in all that there is, including yourself. Life always is there to feed us. It is this abundance that we forget about. We forget to trust in the fact that it is there for us. The sun is just one way that life is teaching you and showing you how everything connects. You are part of the same life force in the universe. Sometimes we get too focused on the day in and day out activities, and we forget about the greater connection. And the sun is a way for you to always remember that connection. And that's an important part there. So many times things happen and we forget about the way that life actually works. And we forget to trust in the way that everything is going to happen. And that sun is one way for you every day to be able to remember that this is the way that life works and to trust in it. The sun is always there for us. Most of us don't even give it much of a thought. Whether the day's sunny, we love it, it's bright, it's warm, it's great. But we never think about the lesson that life is teaching us. And it's a simple lesson. And it's right there in front of you. And that's the way life operates. A lot of lessons in life are always right there in front of you. It's just a matter of whether you've realized it or not. So, life weaves its magic around you all day long, every day, just like the sun. We get lost or we feel like we aren't living up to our fullest potential. Let this be the reminder to hold on to. The sun is always there for you. Even on rainy days, it's just above the clouds. Being able to trust in life and in yourself is one of the most important thoughts to reach your bliss. In this book, we're going to talk about how to reach that state of bliss and have the abundance and true happiness in your life. It is about how to live a life of freedom, to reach your fullest potential, and to be the captain of your ship. Now, the title of this book came from a phrase that I had been using to explaining about taking ownership in your life and how you can sail your ship anywhere you want. I was explaining what I had learned and asked others what they thought about it. I wanted to hear what they had learned in their experiences so far in their lives. At the core of our lives, we all want the same things. We just come at it at different ways. It was my way to make a real connection with another soul walking on the same path. Most of the time I was told I should be writing a book. I was asked if I was a teacher, and I was told that I should be. I would respond by saying I am a teacher and a student of life. I was teaching through a conversation about what I wish I had understood sooner. I would relate these thoughts to others based upon where they were in their lives, from their perspectives and age. I would teach from that moment. Too many times people teach from the past or the future. But what I was relating was what I knew about their moment, not mine. I was always believed in leaving everyone with something to think about or something useful. Everyone has the ability to touch another soul. And how do you want to leave them feeling about the encounter? It is up to them to take from it what they need or they want. And so that's an interesting point there to stop and think about. When you go through your life, do you look at other people and the encounters that you have, and do you try to leave them with something positive? Or do you walk away frustrated? Do you have the ability to touch another person's life? That's one of the greatest superpowers that we have, is being able to influence another individual or to be able to share something with somebody. And the question is how do you want that encounter to go? For me, I always want it to be a positive encounter, or at least try to be a positive encounter. I always try to leave people with something to think about, or something for them to walk away with and feel good about the fact that, they had that encounter. That actually goes forward and pays itself out. That person then walks away and they've got a thought that's in their head for them to entertain themselves with, or a thought that they can then express to somebody else and start another conversation. It also helps them be able to, walk away, put spring in their step, and it helps them with their next encounters that they end up having. I mean, how many times have you been in an encounter and something has made you mad? The person made you mad, the event made you mad, whatever. And then when you walked away and the next person that you encountered, how did you treat that person? Did you actually treat that next person with kindness, or were you still mad and frustrated over what had just happened? See, this is part of one of those things, and this is part of that reminder. Let the sun always be your reminder in trusting in the way that life works, and you are part of that life. So always trust in yourself, and trust in trying to leave it each encounter with something positive. It does all circle back around. We have all heard stories told to us from the older people around us throughout our lives. We have listened and moved on. Those words of wisdom were lessons that sometimes we couldn't relate to from our own experiences in our lives. They seemed like stories about some future that we just couldn't connect to or relate with. This is a problem I noticed with the stories that have been told to me, and I didn't want to do the same thing. We've all been in those situations. We've all had elders tell us stories about what it was like when I was growing up and things like that, and they're trying to tell you something about the way that life works, or something that they're trying to relate to you, something that they would like to impart to you, a lesson. But most of the time, we can't really relate to those lessons because of the way that those stories are told. We haven't reached the age that they are, and so therefore we can't connect with that. And not to say that they are bad at teaching. They are trying. But the fact is that they aren't being able to relate that story to what is going on currently in your life. And that's where the failure comes in. But never walk away confused or frustrated. Understand, they're trying to make that connection. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. How do you want to leave the people that you interact with? Do you want to leave them with something positive? So thank those individuals and try to understand from their life what it is that they're trying to say. Adapt it. Use that as a conversation starter for somebody else. Hey, I was talking to so-and-so, and they told me this. Can you believe that? Or do you even understand that kind of a story? And you both can then have a chuckle at the fact that, Grandpa used to say, I walked to school uphill both ways in the snow, kind of thing. We've all been there, So I'd say take those moments when other people are telling you things that you can't relate to, and just cherish them. It's always good to be present in the moment and to always be happy about that, So think about a time that you went and got a new job. Now think about the person who trained you at that job. Did they reach you at your pace or your knowledge level? Did they try to help you understand? Did they show you how to complete the tasks that you were going to be expected to perform? Did they explain to you how to rise to a new level? Or did they make you feel small and useless because you couldn't get what they were saying? Did they teach you from their arrogance and ego? This kind of behavior divides and separates. It does not connect you to any form of a team. So never be that kind of a person. We've all been in those experiences when we've got a new job and we've got somebody that's there that's to train us. And, it's been a bad experience because of the fact that, what they were saying, we needed a little bit more guidance or a little bit more help, or we had questions that we weren't quite understanding, and then they kind of get short with you. You never want to be that kind of person. And this goes back into how are you going to leave those people that you encounter with? And so, I know I've trained many people in my life at the jobs I've been at. And I always try to train from their level or from their experience. And I'm inquisitive with them and make sure that they understand. I always want everyone to succeed, no matter what. Soon they're going to be on their own. And do I want someone who doesn't fully understand what it is that they're about to do or going to be expected to do? I don't. I want my team to be strong. In this book, I want you to not only to be able to relate to the ideas and the thoughts, but also to learn how to take those and grow, to reach your fullest potential, your deepest desires, and true happiness. There are a few things I'd like to go over first. Some of this is going to click right away. Some of the ideas presented here you may already know or have heard of. And some of these you may already have working for you, while others may take time and work, but don't feel discouraged. It is different for everyone because we all have different life experiences and perceptions of how things work and are supposed to be. Changing your thoughts is not the easiest thing to do because you have been running a different program for so many years. It takes time and it takes practice. And at times I have to go back over and refresh myself on these principles. There are times when I felt that I have strayed from my path, the path that I try to walk on every day. And if I stray too far from that path, I always go back over these principles and try once again to get back more in line with what my thoughts are and then the path that I want to be on, so that I can be the best captain that I can be. Life is simple. It truly is. Life is only as hard as you make it. It is only as hard as you believe it to be. If all you think about is how hard life is, then that's all you will experience. That is, life really is what it is. It is what you make it to be. Whatever you perceive life to be, that's exactly what it's going to be. And so you need to change that perspective. You need to change from thinking about how hard you've got it or about how hard things are. When you can change those thoughts, then everything else around that thought will change. You will realize that you were thinking was so off the mark, that you weren't walking on a path that you really wanted to. When you stop and you think that your life is hard, that's life really telling you that you aren't living up to your potential. It's the potential that you know that you wanted to reach, but you haven't achieved it. And so change that perspective. Start changing and thinking things differently. Don't sit there and think about how hard it is. Think up to yourself about how good you've got it. You can always find something in your life that you've got good, regardless, of whatever that is. And you're the one that's got those life experiences. It's your life. You pick what that is. I could tell you different things in my life, but it ain't going to matter only to me. But to you, find something that is a positive and focus on that. Whether it just be the simple reminder of the sun, or whether it be the fact that life is only as hard as you make it. Repeat that to yourself and think about that. You're the one who chooses how hard something is going to be. You're the one that decides whether that obstacle or these challenges, whether they're going to be a pebble that you put in your pocket, whether they're going to be a mountain that you can't climb. You get to decide. It's always that way, and it's always that simple. So, we're going to stop there for now because I don't want this to get too long today. And so until next time, take care.